We're here with Rasch The Smash. Welcome back to the Wolfson podcast for gamers, two gamers, and about gamers. And this is season 4. And as of recording, he's actually the first guest of the season. So I'm just jumping ahead here. He might not be the first guest of the season, but he's the first recording, definitely. So, Rasch, welcome. Honestly,
hey man, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, as of it's now August, start of August, and I just dropped my last podcast last week, so for the season until September. So with everything that's been going on, you and me got to meet when we did the last one standing challenge. Exactly. Yes. You know what actually got you into doing that? First off,
actually, it was I think my community manager KJ. She saw the post. And she's like, you should totally do this. I think you could stand for a while, And so I'm like, you know what? Yeah, why not? And I literally had no idea. I'm thinking, I don't know. I've been up for 24 hours before, but have I been standing for 24 hours? I don't really remember. You know what I mean? And so I kind of just like got into it, and was just like, hey, whatever happens, no big deal. And so it literally was just that. It was just a nonchalant thing to do, and thought, this might be pretty cool to have. We wanted to do a subathon, like a 24-hour stream, but we weren't going to turn that into like a subathon, but we did want to do, like, I wanted to do a 24-hour stream. So I'm like, well, this is a perfect opportunity. So, we can knock out two birds with one stone. And so that's just how it started. Yeah.
So a 24-hour stream turned into a 45-hour stream.
Yeah.
Because you ended up winning the whole thing. I knocked myself out at 38 or 39 hours, actually.
Yeah.
So
and I actually didn't even prepare, because I jumped in literally like midnight the night before.
I jumped in the day before, and I was at work.
Yeah, so I had no preparation. I had no idea what was even happening. I just knew there's Discord. I have to get into the Discord. And then I woke up at like 9 a.m. that day, not thinking, about the fact that I'm not going to be sleeping. So I woke up at like 9 a.m. that day. So I literally was awake for way longer. And then I just couldn't go to sleep when I got home after that whole thing. So I think it ended up being like 74 hours I was awake in total.
Jesus, dude.
When it was all said and done.
Well, yeah, because you had all the adrenaline going. It was the 4th of July was the morning that you won, and we started on Saturday of the 2nd.
Yeah.
So it's like you got all the celebrations of the holiday to go through. You got everything else to go through. It was just a madhouse of a situation at the same time.
Oh yeah, we've got a TikTok out there of me sitting in my gaming chair with fireworks.
I seen it. I laughed.
My wife is like, "You do not look good, bro."
You looked like shit, if I'm being honest, man.
Yeah.
This is the setup this was my setup right here. Like exactly as it is. And I swear to God, as soon as it all ended, I literally went like this, put my foot up on the desk, and then just fell asleep. As soon as I hit the end stream. As soon as I sent the raid over, I was done.
So luckily, the reason I'm sitting in front of a white wall and a chair in the corner of my room is because I actually don't have a setup at my house. So I stream from my best friend's house in their basement, because we've got a complete re-infrastructure of internet in my town. And so she lives like 10 minutes away. So actually I'm like temporarily set up there, and her studio space is huge. So that was an advantage, where I could kind of like move around and, just put a really wide angle up. And then, so that helped, you know what I mean? And then we could do like lots of like creative stuff. But I thought, so in my head, I was thinking, because my wife was kind of freaking out, and my friend KJ, she was freaking out a little bit, and they're like, "How long are you gonna push this?" I'm like, "Well, I'm prepared to go another 20 hours." Thinking in my head, it definitely is gonna go another 16. And so they had like a bed and a cot ready, like once it ended for to just I was just gonna literally lay down and crash. So I was ready for it.
Honestly, I'm surprised at how long you lasted because first off, you're 40 years old.
I'm 40, yeah, yeah.
You're 40 years old. You got kids. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're younger and possibly getting a little older. Maybe what, 10 years old would be the oldest, I would guess.
I've got one that's driving now.
Oh
He's
Jesus!
turning, yeah, he's 15 and got his learner's permit, and so I goes 15, 13. We'll be 14 here in a few months. Um, 11 and 8. So
Wow.
they're kind of stacked up there. All boys, yeah.
So at least you got some type of advantage compared to me because you know that I'm a dad of two. I literally took one of my breaks to go say goodnight to my kids.
Yeah,
I got a
yeah.
2-year-old and now who's almost 3 here in about a week, and then a 5-month-old now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
those are fun ages.
let me tell you, I'm tired.
I bet.
How I survived 39 hours is a question.
I bet.
But it was
I am older, and I knew that like there was a lot of people that like Tyler for one, other Tyler for one,
right.
he was, he was like Rash is the first to go, and I like clap back. Like that's the thing with me is I've always been a competitor, and I've always like if it's extreme, if it's some type of an extreme situation, I've I've just pushed my body there. Why? I have no idea. I just always like found myself doing really crazy like stupid things. In college, I would go. This is a terrible idea. Don't ever 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 do this. This is a bad idea. This is how people get lost and die. But I would go to the middle of Colorado and I'd pull my car off the side of the road and I'd just get lost and go hiking by myself in the mountains and just spend a couple days out there. You know what I mean? Like roughing
Oh
it.
my god,
And
man.
and so like that just I've always just kind of been that way. And once I started doing I competed competitively running, for a long time. And so I spent a lot of years developing a mental toughness. And I knew going into that whole thing, this is going to be like my body can do this. I'm not concerned with my body. Although my pinky toe on my right foot, I still don't feel the bottom of it. It's completely
Oh
like
my
numb
god.
still. my
Still
so
been
my
over a
like yeah,
month.
over a month, my pinky toe is still completely numb on the bottom. I can feel the top of my toe, but the bottom, I can't feel the bottom of my toe. I have no idea what happened to that thing, but whatever. It's a thing.
It's a toe. It's just a
It's a
toe.
toe,
It
But
only
I
helps you
knew
stay balanced.
yeah, I knew that this was gonna be a massive mental, fight. And so for that, I just knew like I've been through a lot. I've been through some crazy situations. You know, I've done some things that maybe were a little more extreme than some of the others. So I felt like I felt like I had a good chance when it came to the mental long game of it and the physical side of it. However, my biggest fear was the balancing contest stuff because I am older and my equilibrium ain't as good as like the younger guys. So
Right.
like balance that's actually was a legit fear. I'm like if they're gonna knock me out, it's gonna be because I can't freaking balance very well. So that was the one thing I was actually afraid of.
Did,
That
I
was
can't
that was about it.
I can't remember. Did you take part in the you
I
earn a break if you win, but if you lose
Yeah.
then you lose a break and you have to take it?
And I did that because I was like, if I have to, whoa, I almost struck my phone. I was like, I did that. I did that because I just wanted to see like how serious is this balancing thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I was like, I can test it and then I can start the whole time after that, after I lost that challenge, I went, okay, now I know where I'm at with this. So now, while everybody's like doing their thing, I was sitting there working out a mental like breakdown of like, okay, this is how I can balance. And I started practicing like
I
I was
noticed.
I was like practicing my balancing and just like trying to like wrap my head around how I can negotiate my body and like kind of like distribute my weight so that um I don't like so if it happened again, then I could pass. And they did call another stupid balance challenge, but I did much better that time. So
Because me, I didn't realize it, but Lee, Lowly Ballin is also the same age as me. He's 28 years old, and he's a former college athlete for basketball.
yes, yeah.
I did not realize that until after the competition. Me and him became really good friends, but we lasted, and I went back and I timed it. We lasted 8 minutes and 43 seconds on one foot.
That's crazy.
And I was like, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah,
Like that's
that's insane.
and I mean, I'm a bigger dude. I got a big old belly. I got a beer belly going here. I got the dad bod going. So it's like,
Yeah.
I honestly, when you jumped in on it, I was scared. I thought you had the advantage because I know how fit you were just by looking at you. I didn't realize you were 40 years old until you said something way later into everything. I thought you were
Yeah.
maybe 31, 32 years old. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
like, this dude's 40? What the what?
Yeah. Yeah, I've always kind of had just that. Like I said, I think it's just the way I don't know. I think it's just the way I lived, you know, just um my like everybody else in my family, they they look much older than me, but I'm one of the older, you know what I mean? And so it just is, I don't know. It shocks everybody though. Like it really does. It shocks everybody. When I was in the phase 1 competition, they were like, "What?" Like, "Oh my god, dude. You don't look 40, bro." And I'm like, well, "I also don't act 40. I'm a 40-year-old living like a 23-year-old, okay? This is literally my life."
You play video games for a living, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna keep you living young forever,
Yeah.
honestly. So let's actually talk about growing up. Actually, where did you grow up at?
East Central Illinois, in the middle of a cornfield, just south of Chicago. So I was kind of I was the only boy, 4 kids, the only boy. So I had one older sister and 2 younger. And I just was I mean, I was again I in the summers when the sun came up until long after the sunset, I was just gone, you know. I was running around barefoot, I was floating rivers, you know, we are catching crawfish, fishing, blowing up frogs with M80s, you name it, you know.
Living
It's
that
just
country
like it was
life.
just yeah, just the way it was just the way it was. And so you know, we that was it. I got super bored and a lot because there wasn't anything. It was a town of like 2,000 people, maybe at that point. I think it was like 1,400 in that range. Um, and um, and so I the only thing that you had to do was either drink beer or play sports. And so I did a lot of baseball, and then after baseball, kind of in 8th grade, I someone's like, "You should go out for like the track team." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know, I don't really want to run, and but I tried out and ended up on the 4x100. Went to state, and after that, I was like, "Oh my god, I love competing against people like this," and that was just it. And so from then on, I just running was just kind of my thing. And once I got into high school, it was like, every spare moment, I just would go run, and just kind of see how far I could push myself the next time. And then I started doing really stupid stuff, and I would like load up on Mexican food and crap, and then go run as hard as I could to see if I would puke, and so I just kind of kept like pushing my body to see how far I could go, and and then that led to the marathoning and stuff like that.
Yeah, you mentioned that you did run marathons during the competition, and you were wearing brand new sneakers throughout that standing competition. And
Yeah, they're pretty new. Yeah.
so it was a matter of, okay, this guy's running marathons. When did marathoning actually start? At what about eight?
Uh, Senior year of high school. Um, I started doing. I did my first half marathon senior year of high school, and then I actually set my PR. It was right after college. I set my PR for a half marathon. I did. It was 1 hour 16 minutes,
Nice.
um, which is pretty fast.
Yeah, that it.
I think that's like averaging like 5 minute miles or something for 13 miles. So that was pretty quick. But I actually loved middle distance more. I love being able to like run fast, but just long enough to make someone really hate their life choices.
Like,
You
why
know
did
what I
I
mean?
enter this?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, uh, distance, you can kind of like find moments to rest. Middle distance, you really just had to like, you have to sprint, and it's like a half mile. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's really where I love, because again, it's kind of that mental game of just like messing with people, and we'd talk to people, we'd we'd troll people back and forth and be like, you gonna take the lead, or you want me to? Yeah, I'll take it. Bye. And just kind of like getting people's heads like that. And so there was a big mental game with that. We'd play tag in high school. My team, the varsity guys, we'd play tag while we're racing. And people be like, "What? Who are these guys? Like, why are they doing this?" You know what I mean?
You got to
So
find the fun in things as well.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I, I,
absolutely.
I remember my first time doing 2-a-days with this new football coach. It was my senior year. He decided to have us run the track, and it's a quarter-mile track, but he was timing us. And he said that if you didn't finish by a certain time with your group, then you got to do 100 down up. I hate down up. I hate
Yeah,
it.
they're terrible.
And so for me, as I was considered a lineman, even though I could have been a linebacker, we had to complete one lap in a minute and 2 or 3 seconds or something. It was just shy of over a minute, and I was subbing 50 seconds. And I'm like, I ain't doing these. I'll run my ass off. No.
Yeah, my kid, my second oldest is a linebacker, and he just loves it. He he thought he thought he was going to be a wide receiver, and I went, "Bud, you just ain't got the body for it. Like you ain't built to be a wide receiver. Like you're a
if, he,
thick boy.
if
He's
he's looking like
completely not
you,
built like me.
oh
Yeah,
no,
he's
he's
definitely
not.
not built like me. No,
Oh God, is he
he
like
is not.
is he huskier or is he skinnier?
He No, he's built from muscle. He just got
Oh
you
yeah, he's a
know
linebacker all day.
he's just got a muscle frame, dude. And so I think from last summer to this summer, he's grown like 6 inches, and he's gained, I think the physical, they said he's gained like 25 pounds of just mass. Just
Ooh.
he's gonna be a big boy.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big boy. I mean,
he's in
when
and he's in eighth grade, but now he just like he found his love for just hitting things, and so he'll just come
it
up and just wham. I'm like, ow,
it takes
dude.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
I started playing football in seventh grade. Played for the city league and stuff like that, and we traveled to different cities. And I didn't start playing high school ball until sophomore year. I skipped freshman year, stayed one more year on the city league.
Mhm.
And the difference between the two, I was 180 pounds going into my sophomore year, and they still put me on as a lineman because that's what I've always played. In
Yeah.
the City League, there was a weight limit of 170 pounds. I was tipping that scale each and every single week.
Yeah.
Like
That's funny.
I would not eat breakfast. I would have to run, get to the field early, run. They would weigh me in before everybody else. And as soon as I got weighed in, then I could eat, and then we'd start our practice, our warm up. It was just the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like you're cutting weight for a wrestling weight
I,
class or
I,
something.
I did that too. I
Yeah.
did that too. So it was a matter of, God, do I hate sports, but at the same time, I love it. Like it
Yeah,
was the competition.
that's what it is. And actually that was one of the things that, drew me into gaming was that as well. Um I
Exactly
mean, the first
when did you actually get started? Because I mean, being 40, you went through the Atari and all that. You lived in those days.
well, yeah, I mean, uh so there was like that level gaming, you know what I mean? But it was the very, very, very first Call of Duty game, and my parents had a Commodore, or they had a compact Presario, you know, computer that had that they my dad bought the game, and I
Oh,
remember loading up
I,
into my first like online, like, these are real people I'm playing against, you know what I mean? And it was the craziest experience ever.
it had to have been, the weirdest thing. The first time I ever experienced online gaming was Resident or Resistant,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's like, what am I doing? I didn't
yeah.
play.
It
I never played PC. So exactly, what was it like growing up or playing PC gaming at the start of PC gaming?
Oh, I mean, it's just all you knew, you know what I mean? So, like, it really wasn't like, I mean, we had a Nintendo, but then, like, PC gaming was like, this is where, like, this is next level graphics, like, this is the pinnacle of technology. This is crazy, and I never really remembered like a learning curve of a mouse and keyboard. It was just like, well, you know, this is how you move, and you just aim and shoot,
It
it's
kind of
not
just
like
became the
Tarkov
natural.
today where you've got like 45 keybinds that you have to memorize. It was rudimentary, and it was, straightforward, but I don't even know if it had jumping in that game. But like it I just remember the exhilaration of like fighting another real person. Was it was like it was the most exciting thing ever, because like you go from Mario or whatever to that. It's just like, oh man, like I'm actually fighting somebody. And then that just, for us sports kids especially, like that sense of competition, for me, I needed it. One, it was an outlet, right? So I needed to have it, because if I didn't like have a way to get, like, to express that, or have a way to compete, or like get that out of me, that urge to be the best, then it just kind of manifested in like acting out. It manifested in like getting into fights, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so for me, it was like really, really, really good and healthy. Like I had to compete. And I just knew, like, the second I loaded up and I'm seeing other people, and you get that kill, it was just like, I still remember the first kill I ever got in, it was on an online multiplayer. It was the first Call of Duty, and I was like, my name was the Saint, and I was like, oh, you just got killed by the Saint. That's me. And I just thought that was, I don't know why I thought that was the coolest thing at the time, but I thought that was the coolest thing to see pop up on the screen.
at,
Um,
at this time, you're what, 20 years old at this time?
oh, no, 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 no. I was let's see, when did, yeah, right?
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
so.
first Call of Duty came out in like 20 years ago. Great having a
Yes, yeah,
PC
it was.
here.
Oh no, the first what was it? It wasn't. let's see, what was the first?
The first ever Call of Duty actually came out in 2003.
2003. Yes. Yeah. So I graduated in 2001. So I was about 20 years old.
See, great having a PC.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, so I mean, in 2003, you got to experience the online gaming of PCs, where I was still, God, I was 9 years old at the time. Let
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sink in for you. But so I didn't actually get into the Call of Duty scene until Modern Warfare 2, which they're about to revamp and is bringing nostalgia for me because, this is my childhood here that they're bringing
Hmm.
back. And so it was like that was the first time I actually got to experience what real online multiplayer was, because Resistance only had like 4 or 5 people when you could fit 30 people.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like nothing serious.
Hmm.
And it was
Um,
just the greatest thing ever.
I did play Half-Life a few times. That was before Call of Duty. I did play Half-Life a little bit, but we didn't have like a good enough computer to like run it. You know what I mean? So
It was a slow computer for what it needed.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for
See,
sure.
the first games that I ever played on PC, these were in the 90s. I was a huge wrestling fan. So it was always the wrestling game that you could buy the disc and you got to download it to the
Oh,
computer.
oh
It
yeah,
was
absolutely.
it was those were my PC gaming days.
I think the very first, so the first computer I ever gamed on was a Commodore 64. That was a that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm thinking what?
Um,
A what?
a Commodore 64. It's you're gonna laugh when you see it. I don't even remember what games I you could play on that. I just remember my dad had one and he had
Oh
some games.
my Jesus.
Yep. And then from there, I think the real like graphic, like first insane graphics that I ever saw was Wolfenstein. Remember Wolfenstein?
I do.
Um, so Duke Nukem and then Wolfenstein. I think they both came out about the same time. But it wasn't like an online type thing or anything. So Wolfenstein, the first one, was like, this is insane. I'm gonna kill Hitler. My dream has come true. You know what I mean? Like, this is amazing. And I killed Hitler a lot. It was the same levels over and over again. And then I started speed running that, because you memorize where all the guys are at. Because they don't change.
No, they
Like
won't.
it's the same, right? So you memorize where the guys are at. So you start speed running and just flicking on these guys, on these NPC characters. And then from there it went to like Deus Ex, um, on Mac, one of the very first Macs actually. And then of like the new generation. And then from there like Call of Duty, and yeah. And then once I got Medal of Honor was kind of around there. I think that was what it was.
I think Medal of
um
Honor came out around that time too. Yeah.
yeah, so there was like Medal of Honor. And then I think I played, um there were a couple like random Call of Duty games that came out, but Modern Warfare 2 was the first console Call of Duty that I played. So I in that and I remember like the opening cutscene of that, of like the campaign and everything. I was just like, this is a movie. Like, this is crazy.
The games just got better and better as time went.
Yeah. And so but then it was just that desire to keep like pushing, and then search and destroy was like every night was like, man, I wish I had friends, but I didn't have a lot of friends that played games. So literally it was just always me, right? So I wanted to like, so I just played by myself a lot. And then um it was literally just recently have I had actual friends who wanted to game with, and it just so happened to be when COVID started. So COVID-19, when that whole thing happened, started in 2020. That's literally the first time I actually gamed with real friends.
Are you
I didn't have
serious?
I didn't have friends who gamed because gaming for for everybody my age was like not a cool thing. Like you don't really tell people you game. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's what losers do, you know? So like you didn't really tell people that, and people just didn't do it that were my age. Um or at least they didn't do it openly, right? And the level that I wanted to do it, like I remember telling my guidance counselor like I want to be a pro gamer, and she's like, you ain't nobody makes money playing video games,
At
like
that
that's just
time,
not
no. Nobody made money
right.
off of it then.
Yeah, and so so like, but it was all I wanted to do. It was literally all I wanted to do. And so it's kind of funny that now here we are, 2020. I started streaming. 2021 really. I started streaming. But in 2020, it was like that was how we, my team and I, we would have team meetings for work, and my team became my friends, and then we just became gaming buddies. So it was kind of a crazy like progression to like actually find people who loved gaming as much as I did.
Okay, first off, you started streaming last year.
Maybe it was 2020. I don't even
Hey,
know,
either
dude.
way, I don't. Either way, I'm
It
looking at
all
your stats here on your
it all
website.
blends together.
I'm looking at your website here, by the way, raschthesmash.com, by the way. Dude, you got 3.5K on Twitch, you got 3.8K on TikTok, 2.7K on Twitter, Instagram, yeah, 1.8K, and on YouTube, you're about to crack 1K. Like,
Oh, I did. Yes, I did 2 days ago. Yeah.
oh, congratulations, your
Thank you.
website's not up. Media Kits is not updated yet, then, on your
Yeah.
website. But
Yeah.
if you started this even 2 years ago, those numbers are incredible. Like,
I think what it was. I think it was 2020 June. My friend was like, "You should just stream. Like, you're playing games." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'll try it." And I didn't really like. I literally just like streamed to try to like catalog my gameplay. Um, and then it wasn't until like I think September I became affiliated. Um, so I was it was like one of those nights where we're playing really late, and just my buddies and I, and we're playing Warzone, obviously. Um, and this guy came in, um, and he, hey buddy, just put it here. It's fine. I'm sorry, my kids are. See ya. And so I this guy comes in, and I had like three people viewing, right, which were me and my two friends. and so this guy pops in. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's a real person talking to me right now on the internet, while I'm playing a video game." And so we start talking. He's like, "Dude, I love your setup. Like, you got a lot of cool tech stuff." I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm in. I do like pro audio video lighting for my job, and it's what we do. So I love tech." And he's like, "That's cool," and so we started talking a little bit. He's like, "All right, man, well, I'm gonna go to bed because it's late, but I'm gonna keep a tab open for you." He's like, "Glad I met you." And so then we messaged each other the next day, and turns out he's the creative director for the Dallas Mavericks Pro 2K team.
really?
um, I was like, "Yo, how did you find me?" He's like, "Oh, I literally went all the way to the bottom of the Warzone page and was like, there's got to be somebody cool I can meet, and that was it." And then, and then he and I've been really good friends ever since. So we that was the first time where I realized, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, there are people out here that that you actually connect with and you actually build relationships with. I had
Right.
no clue. I had no idea about how to stream, or like, I mean, I knew how to stream. I didn't know like how to actually like do it, how to build a community, those types of things.
Yeah.
And
The
so
basics.
yeah, like technology, I'm like, yeah, I can set up some tech and I can fire off a stream, but how to actually do it was crazy. And so I really started gaining kind of my footing in September 2020, now that I'm remembering it. And then
Yeah, your website
from
says
there,
2020.
yeah, and then from there it was, it was just kind of like we went through some ups and downs. It was like, man, I can do this a lot, and then like a couple months later, like I have to really pare back because work is murdering me. And so 2021, the end of 2021, I left my production job and took a job with a the third largest esports arena in the nation here in Kansas City, um, and became the director of arena operations. And we were doing some crazy cool stuff. We had, the COD Challenger series, the first ever, like in conjunction with each other, COD Challenger series and Halo LAN happened here in KC. And I produced that whole thing. Made like, I kind of oversaw all the tech and streaming and production of that, which was super cool. Um, and then a few months later, um, uh, phase one gets announced. I think it was January, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple buddies that entered into it as well.
Yeah, I think it was January. And so January 2022, phase one gets announced, and I looked at my friend KJ, who is like she helps me. She's like my producer. She's the community manager.
Was she the one
It,
that was with you in the standing challenge?
yes, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Super fiery. She'll drop an elbow on your face. Yeah,
Yeah, I had quite a few of those.
yeah. She just that's the way she is, dude. She's feisty. I love it.
Yeah,
And
felt
so
that.
KJ and I looked at her. I'm like, hey, it's actually my first video submission. I was like, hey, I think I want to go out for phase one, and she literally was like, "Are you're 40 years old? Like, what? Are you an idiot?" And so that whole video, we did a whole parody of that, playing out, where we were actually filmed it at the arena, because that literally was like the conversation that happened. But of course, we, for the video, we like really played it up a little bit. But we decided to go after that, and that kind of jump started us into a whole other category of like visibility, that we saw a lot of insane growth, really fast, and it was kind of shocking actually. We call it the phase effect, because they just like, once you're announced by phase and things like that, like people just kind of start to come around, that wouldn't have normally. And it
No.
and it was really cool. It was really cool. And then a few months after phase started in April, once April came, actually the arena, just the economy caught up, and people weren't coming to game, and the arena actually had to terminate my position. So then I was jobless, and then I went full-time content creation, literally looking for jobs everywhere, and it's just like people aren't hiring around here, you know what I mean?
No.
And
And
so I'm like, well, this is all I've got. So we literally just became full-time content creator.
you know,
So
I pulled up your YouTube channel here and I actually found that phase one submission video.
yeah.
Like, you look so different then as you do now. You actually look like a man right now with everything. And I'm like, these aren't the same two people. This guy talking to me right now is not this person on this camera.
Yeah. I felt like there was a lot of growing up actually. We learned one of the things that I told KJ, I said, This is going to make us better creators. Like, this is going to push us so far because we're literally going up against the best of the best who are going to be going out for this thing.
Yep.
And, and I said, I literally have zero expectations except that it would be really cool if we made the top 100. And then when after we made that first video, both Phase Mew and Phase Flea reviewed it, and hearing their comments on it, I was just like, is this real life? Like, you believe that you're good at something, you believe you can do something, but it's kind of like it's like you don't really know until somebody who's already doing it on a scale that you dream of doing it goes, bro, you're a content creator. This is insane. Like, the production value, the whole thing, the story, like, this is really good. And you're definitely getting into the top 100. It was at that moment that, it was at that moment where I was just like, this is wild. This is actually happening.
Like, I couldn't even believe, when you said that you were 40, and then when I actually looked at your profile and saw that you were also in phase top 100 for phase 1, it was like, this man is actually a legend that I'm actually sitting here with. I didn't realize how big alarming amber was until I'm literally sitting here streaming, and one of my buddies is like, is that alarming amber that you're competing with? I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh my god, I love her. And I was like, okay, give me a profile. Like, I literally messaged him saying, send me a link, we check this out. And she's verified on TikTok with, almost 1 million followers. I'm like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
Yeah. And that's and that kind of, and that growing up was literally what happened. Like, when I say, like, we grew up a lot, because all of a sudden we get announced at number 25 for phase 1 top 100, and I'm like, and then they go, hey, we need you to jump on a call. You're going to be on the phase 1 road to phase 1 live show, or show. It's live right now. And I'm like, I'm actually on their show. This is me. This is my face. I'm talking to Seabass and Faxity. Like, these are phase, dude, these are legends, and I'm actually being interviewed by these
This was
guys.
something you were not ready for.
Yeah, and it was just like, follow. It was just like all 4,500 people in that stream are now like realizing, hey, this is a dude that's out there and he's kind of cool. I'm gonna go follow him and check him out. And so then that really just was, that was insane. It was a dream come true type moment. And then just to compete with people at that level, like I said, it literally just pushed us to be the best version of ourselves. And so it's kind of like, it never really felt like it was a competition against these guys. But I developed such amazing relationships with people from Karnage Clan, I mean,
hey, shout out.
All over the place. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, all people from all over the place. And clans from, I didn't even know were clans, you know what I mean? Like,
all these different teams.
Yeah, and we're meeting these people, and we developed a big, very good relationships with a lot of these people that we still game with and hang out with and talk to, and and that's amazing. But it put me in a different frame of mind that was kind of like, hey, I have something to offer. What I have to offer is not going to be necessarily better than what anybody else has to offer, but I know how to be the best version of myself. And now I know what I'm capable of and what I can market myself as. And that was a fast jump from going, I like being goofy. I like competing. I like having a lot of fun, I like making people laugh. I like challenging people. But it was kind of like, wait, no, now I know now I have a vehicle that I can actually do this with.
Right.
And so it was literally just that, and from going from there to kind of like being lost a little bit, you know, like not really knowing what to do next after phase one. Because um, honestly, when I lost my job, I thought this is a sign from the universe. Like, I'm going to LA, you know, like this has to be right. This has to be. This is the perfect story. I lost my job 4 weeks before the top 20 were announced. Why would I not go to LA? You know what I mean? And so then
It
when it didn't happen, it felt like it just felt, it hurt, right? It hurt a lot. It felt like
it's like a gut
something,
punch
it really
almost.
was, because it was like, what is it all for? You know? But what I didn't realize is the thing that I wanted most wasn't the thing that I needed most. I needed to feel that, because it sent me on this path of like, okay, over the next 4 weeks, I need to figure out who I am now, you know? Because everything from January to, to May was nothing but phase one. I mean, I lived and breathed and was, you know, gaming with these guys. It was just like everything was phase. And so then I had to figure out like, okay, who am I beyond that? And then it took a few weeks, but then we started getting some calls like, hey, we're scouting you, want to let you know, love your content. What you did for phase was insane. You know, had interviews with Xset and Luminosity and you know, some crazy orgs out there.
When so I actually saw this today actually because Alex, he used to work for Respawn. He now works for Luminosity. Saw that you were
Yes.
vouching for Mr. Frosty a month ago, but what about you? I didn't see you
for
comment on there for your own self, man.
for
Honestly.
Luminosity.
Yeah.
We actually he called we I had an interview with him.
Okay.
And
Okay, just
and
making
it was,
sure. Just making sure because
yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. This guy is vouching for somebody else, but I don't see him vouching for himself.
Yeah, I did. I actually had a few interviews with them, and it was really awesome. And I loved everything that they were about. But when it came down to it, there was a smaller org, not a small org, but a smaller than Luminosity org, by the name of Horizon Union from the EU that reached out to me, and the offer that they offered me was like, I can't not accept this. This is insane. You know, and the more I had conversations with them, you know, the more I just fell in love with their culture, and it was really an amazing fit. Like, they are, um, the content I make and what their goals as an org and everything just literally lined up. And it was crazy. And so then coming out of that discovery of like Horizon Union and them signing me, then came Samsung partnership, which then came, you know, getting invited to the Nikkei 30-20,000 invitational to compete against the best Fortnite gamers in the world. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything is moving so fast. But
Like
I needed that whole, I
it was the
needed that really
perfect
dark, I
it was
needed
the
that
perfect
dark moment.
lineup. It was the
Yeah.
perfect lineup for you because I mean when you announced it to I don't know if you're still in the group chat and I don't have no idea if it's still even active. But on Twitter we had the last one standing
Yeah.
group chat. A lot of people have left. When you told all of us, it was like an oh my god type of moment. Like I'm at work and I saw the message and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It's crazy. And now, you know, now I might be getting, now Samsung might be sending me on trips. Like, it's just crazy, right? So it's really wild how you, like, in your heart and in your mind, like, you can want something, and it's like going after those dreams, but not every time is the thing that you want the most what you need the most. And I've learned that lesson. And so it's been an amazing journey. And now over the last 3 weeks, I've been competing against Nick Merckx and Cypher PK, and actually like beating these guys with my team. And it's crazy. I had Ninja's brother one shot last night. And so
Oh,
before we got third partied, and it's like this is and now we're like competing on a level where I've never like I we're in the top 1%, finishing with the best, most highest earning Fortnite gamers in the world.
and
And
you're
we're fighting with these, like we're punching in that weight class right now and we're winning. Like this is crazy.
you're
And
doing
so
it. You're doing it at a pace that works best for you because you need that competition. You said you needed that competition, so you're getting that competition. You've had the high hopes and dreams to just be knocked in, punched into the gut, and said, "Not yet." To now, you're at the level that you need to be at just to keep growing.
yeah, absolutely. And Horizon is literally there. I mean, they're coaching me and going, okay, so like this is this, and we review numbers. And I've got a talent manager. And so like now I've got help, and I've got somebody who understands it and has some understanding of laws and things like that. It's like
People that are actually
it's
going to be able to help you a lot better.
yeah, right. And so now it's just a matter of, if you keep if I keep putting work in, keep being me, keep growing that community, and like making it about them and not about like just not about trying to get subs or anything. Like, you know what I mean? If you try to get viewers, if you're trying to get subs, if you're trying to get, whatever, um it's almost like that is the thing that will hold you back the most. It's the moments that I go, I don't care about what my viewer count looks like, I don't care about what my monthly subs look like. And that's hard when this is your full-time job, right? Because
Right.
there's a lot there, right? But when you don't care about those things and you go make the content that matters most to you, you attract the people that will want to be a part of that content. And then they become your family and they're there for you. You know what I mean? And so, like, I've got people that hate Fortnite. I hated Fortnite. The
I
fact that I'm
still
now
do.
competing, the fact that I'm now competing in pro tournaments for Fortnite just cracks me up because 2 years ago, I told my kids, I'm never buying you another V-Buck. I hate that game. You are not getting any V-Bucks. Don't ask. I'm going to destroy your PlayStation if you ask me for V-Bucks. No V-Bucks. I hate Fortnite. And
Famous
here
last
I am.
words.
And here I am freaking fighting Tifu in Cypher PK in Fortnite.
Famous last words. I'm never buying you another V-Buck, but I will
Now
buy
I'm
my.
buying myself V-Bucks. By the way,
So,
use code Rasch The Smash in the Fortnite store.
I love it. Yes, good plug. Oh my god. So here's another thing that I thought was great is we have the exact same partner,
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Gamer Goo.
Yes, we do.
By the way, code 65 at checkout at gamergoo.com.
There you go. Hey, it's your street. You can do that.
Throw your plug in, man. Honestly, this is what's great about it.
My gamer goo is Smash, code Smash.
There we go.
Yeah.
See, 65 is easy.
It is easy, right?
That's why I chose it. It's for all
I actually
of
was
my
looking
partners.
at that and I was like, man, that's clever. It's
So-
just easy. 65.
So what made it to be 65 is it was my high school football. So
I wondered being a lineman,
yep, it was I grew up playing tackle, then in high school they wanted to move me to center, and I was snapping. I was actually shotgun snapping at the time as well. So I had to learn how to do that. And then my senior year they were like, so we're going to move you to guard. I was like, I've never played guard in my life. but I just happen to have the perfect fit for it.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
it worked out good for me. I got this. I wore 77 for 3 years in the city leagues, and then 65 for the 3 years of playing high school ball.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
so that's where 65 comes from. I it's been fucking 10 years since I played football. 11 years, holy. And yet that number still sticks with me. So yeah,
I mean,
it's
it
now.
always will. That was the reason for the skull in my logo.
I'm
Is
actually on your website, and I want to pull up your website here. It might change. It's gonna go there. That's you. So let's go over here. Oh, wrong one. I'm on your website here. You can't see it, but here's your website here, and they can see the skull on your hoodie.
yeah. So the skull was my that was my team's logo from high school. It wasn't the official school logo because we were the St. Joseph Spartans, but the cross country guys we were a little bit. Our coach's father's nickname was Doctor Death because he was a doctor, and he started the very first like distance running animals. Whereas like a little more extreme of a group of like idiots, it would just be like, we're gonna go run until we literally pass out and die, you know. And so so like the skull kind of became the thing. It became the symbol of pain is our friend. Like we're gonna we literally we will embrace pain because pain's gonna make us stronger. We're gonna become best friends with pain, you know, whatever that means for you, you know. And so the skull just kind of carried through with me into literally any logo I ever had. I always did a skull.
So while you're
And
sitting here with a skull on a hoodie that's looking pretty dope, I'm sitting here with Oh Daddy sitting on a hoodie. Let's think about this for a second. Where am I going wrong here?
I don't
I
know. I
gotta.
mean, that's kind of cool, dude. It's hot. I like that.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
daddy.
Honestly, after this, I'll show you the new merch. I'll let you look at the new merch store because
Love that.
I'm dropping new stuff all this month. You'll get a sneak peek of new stuff.
Nice,
But
dude.
but I mean, it's a matter of you put something into a brand. You've officially become a brand yourself. Your name, the Rasch The Smash, is now a brand. Like
Yes.
like how is your family taking all of it? Like you got a 15-year-old, a near 14-year-old, and an 8-year-old who all play video games, I'm pretty sure. And yet they're seeing their dad do something that they're probably watching the people that you're going against and beating. They would say
Yeah.
is their idols. And you're now with them. How's your kids taking?
They so my two youngest think it's awesome. My two olders think it's awesome, but they won't admit it. They're, you know what I mean? But I know that they do. Like their friends, I'll get their meathead high school friends that'll pop in and, you know, troll me in chat and, you know, all of
Typical.
that stuff. It's pretty cool. I think they're loving it. My wife, this was a hard like it just was so foreign to her and still is, but you know, there was a lot there that we had to work through with a family balance and actually is one of those things where like I had to cut back on being in everybody's streams and stuff because I needed to spend time with her. And so I've just found that like if Mrs. RTS is being taken care of and you know and the kids are being taken care of, then um you know she's like, hey, let's go, like do your thing. I love it. She's very supportive. She's in every stream. um she she's kind of so if I have to do any proofreading, she always like she's always kind of involved in the ideas of things and the back end of things like that. So is KJ's husband. So KJ and I work very much like in front of everything. But then like KJ's husband's a musician, really good musician, and he writes music. You know, he writes jingles, and he'll do scores and backing tracks for videos and things like that. you know, and Mrs. RTS, she's always just kind of like, yeah, this is a good idea, or maybe a business decision here might be better, you know. So she's involved on at that level a lot. So very supportive. But it took a while to get to there because there was a kind of an imbalance. At first, it was like games, let's go, you know what I mean,
Right.
and it was like, but what about your family, you know? And so my mom still thinks I'm having a midlife crisis. You know, she thinks that I'm literally like neglecting my family, but they're
R-
very much a part of what's going on.
Right. And I'm finding my balance again once now that I have a 5 month. Now, my wife is currently upstairs. I could hear my 5 month old screaming his head off.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like I'm sitting down here doing a podcast. So I mean, shout out to
yeah,
all of the wives and the girlfriends that
yeah.
honestly they're the backbone to us. Honestly.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, very much.
if it wasn't for our wives, we probably wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
last thing. So KJ is your sister, and we all thought she was your wife at first for like the first 30 or so hours.
I think somebody called her my mom too.
Oh yeah, that was just a joke. That was a Tyler Morrow thing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I
That
love
was
it.
definitely Tyler Morrow, not me, not the other Tyler.
Yeah,
I'm still known as Minion to everybody else. I mean,
right. Yeah.
got those guys sitting back there. So, with everything, what do you think your future is actually going to hold for you in the long run?
So when I interviewed with Horizon Union and with Faze, um both asked me questions about where I saw myself going. And my super nonchalant answer was, I want to be the greatest entertainer in the Midwest. And they went, oh, really? That's awesome. You know, and so then it was just kind of like that's literally my goal. I want to be when people come to the Midwest, when they come to Kansas City, because we're like, we love our city, we love Kansas City. You know, when people come here, we want them to go, oh, this is where Rasch The Smash lives. Like, oh, this is Rasch The Smash's hometown. Like, this is Rasch The Smash's territory. You know what I mean? And it literally is just that. And so so for me, I want to, it's kind of not about, and again, it's not about beating other people. Like Legion lives here. I see Legion a lot actually. You know, Legion is a pro uh Warzone player for
Yeah,
Florida
he's kicked
Mutineers.
he's kicked my
You know,
ass once before. I learned a
oh,
lesson.
he destroyed me in the Nick A30 tournament. We he again we had his teammate one shot, and he was wearing a green outfit and I didn't see him in the grass. And I very promptly told my duo, I said, we need that. We need that green outfit, bro. But you know, so like this is like he's from here, you know, and so it's not like I have to beat Legion. You know, there's a lot of massive Twitch streamers, but from that are here in Kansas City. For me, it's like I need to keep elevating. I want to keep pushing myself. I want to literally be I want to be the best though. Like it's just that's just what I want. I won't be satisfied until I am, you know. And so then it's like, well, what next? Well, I'm gonna go be the best at something else. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep being the best until I just, you know, I can never quench that desire to like be the best version of myself at whatever I'm doing. And so gaming, I will always be that. I will always be a content creator, I think. You know, but now I'm like
I would say
sucked
that
into the freaking competitive scene in Fortnite. Now I'm obsessed, and I'm like every now I've got like a training regimen. I've actually, you know, like we're reviewing film. Like we know exactly what we need to work on, you know. So it's just like constantly improving. constantly being the best, constantly trying to improve, and eventually, I will be the greatest entertainer in the Midwest.
You know what? You and me are both from the Midwest, so let's make a promise. If I ever come to KC, you gotta take me out to dinner. You ever come to Detroit or Ann Arbor, I got you. Let's make that happen.
Absolutely, dude.
Make it
Absolutely.
happen.
We'll get you some good old fashioned Casey barbecue here.
Oh, dude, I love barbecue so much.
We got some great barbecue
I'll have
places.
to I'll have to take you down to a Coney Island then. It's not as good, but
Oh,
it's famous stuff here.
oh yeah, for sure.
So,
Absolutely.
so before we actually end it off, if you got any advice for any up and coming content creators, people that are just starting out, what would that be?
It is you have to understand first and foremost that this is a marathon. It is not going to go quickly. But even with as oversaturated as the streaming world may seem, there is still an audience for anybody. So if you want to do this, if this is like a dream of yours and you're like, hey, I want to do this, or I want to be a pro gamer, I want to, be an entertainer, or want to be a variety streamer, whatever it is that like your niche is, you have to find that, right? Like, so step one, find your niche. Step two, make a game plan, because if you're going to do this, um, whether it's a hobby or you want to pursue a career, you got to have a game plan to to figure out your time management, what you can allocate, um, start connecting with people. Building your community is the only thing that's going to help you survive or help you grow, is growing your community. And that might seem like a daunting task at first. I remember trying to, like, how do I get to 20 people in Discord? Like, I've got the same 5 people, I just want 20 people, and then that 20 turned into, okay, now let's try to get 50 people, and then that turned into 100 people, and then that turned into 200, and then that turned into 300, and now we're pushing to 400, and so, like, as you keep growing your community and connecting with people and bringing people into who you are, I think that's what the world really wants now. There's a generation of young kids growing up that, like, my 15-year-old can smell BS a mile away. He doesn't care about accolades or anything. He wants to know who you are, and he's going to be drawn to, if you are interesting, he's going to be drawn to that. And so people want to know what your life is like, and so don't shy away from those things. It can't all be just about gaming. Sometimes you got to bring people into, like, hey man, I went to my favorite coffee shop, and I met the craziest person and they impacted me, in this way. Like, people want to hear those stories, because I think that at the end of the day, if it's just about gaming, there's always another gamer out there. There's always somebody better. There's always somebody who's going to be cooler or fresher or have a better setup or whatever, right? So it can't just be about gaming at the end of the day. It has to be about impact. So if you want to do anything, doesn't matter what it is, insert the name of the thing, that the dream that you have, then answer the question, how can I impact people's lives as I'm pursuing that dream? And that's what I think about, that and I dream about that every time. Whenever I go live, always want to have something prepared. Like, if I get rated by somebody, what can I leave that community with so that they're better when they leave? You know what I mean? And so if people constantly, like, think in those ways and in those, and at that level, you're gonna find that you'll start seeing successes that you never would have dreamed of.
Honestly, I don't think anybody has said something more impactful, because I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm listening and I'm like, this guy's about to change who I am sitting here. So honestly, no, you're the biggest person that I've actually ever had on the podcast. Other
Really,
than
I'm honored.
and,
That's awesome.
I've had UDG on before, but I mean, at UDG's level to your level, UDG and me we're really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
But you are more of you know, you're somebody that's new to me as a person as well, where I've known UDG since he started content creating again for the second time.
Yeah.
So it's like I like hearing everybody give their own intake, their own perspectives on things, on how to grow. And everybody's got something different. So I feel like what you just said is more impactful than anybody's ever said. No offense, UDG, I still love you. Don't kick my ass. Don't block me yet. Long running joke there. So, but you honestly, you have the mentality to keep going. At 40 years old, honestly, seeing what you have done in the month that I have known you, it changes perspective, because everybody wants us to try and say, you got to be original. Try and be an original person. The problem is that everything has been done at some point.
Yeah.
When you really go back and look, somebody else has already done it. So we try and mirror ourselves into other people. So in a way, I take pieces of everybody's advice and I try to apply it for my own self, but I want everybody to apply it to themselves as well. Because you just never know what might click for you, it won't click for other people. But what clicks for one person, it might actually click onto another person. And that way, because in this industry, it is hard to grow. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I do these podcasts, is to try and showcase the creator of who they are as a person, not just as the creator. And you as a person, you're a family man, you're an amazing content creator, you're definitely an entertainer. And for that, dude, keep going, honestly, for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't wait to see what your future holds, because in my opinion, you're just getting started. So
yeah, it definitely feels like that. I am very excited, and one of the things that I just really want to be a part of is also is these types of things, is helping see other people. I told my wife and KJ both. I said, man, I never want to get to the point to where I don't reach out if someone asks me a question. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't care how big or small I am. Like, I never ever want the last thing that someone says, man, hey, can I have some advice? And I'm how dare we ever think that we're above giving advice, you know what I mean, to somebody who reaches out. And so that's just always been my thing, is I will never ever get to that level to where I cannot, you know what I mean, like I could have 1 million viewers, you know, I can be Mr. Beast level, I'm still going to be reaching out and doing the same things. And you know, it's just who I am. And so I think it's an honor, honestly, to be able to meet so many people and connect with so many people. So,
well, it's definitely great to have you here, man. Honestly, there's one thing I gotta say: chase what scares you.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, this is the podcast for gamers, two gamers, and about gamers, the Wolf's Den podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.